Hi, I'm Jennifer Ackerman-Haywood from CraftSanity.com, and I'm back with another video. This is a continuation of the hexagon weaving video that I just did, where I showed people how to weave on the CraftSanity Kindred Hexagon Looms. They come in two sizes. One is a coaster size, and the other one here is to make hot pads, or you can make hexagons in either size and connect them to make a rug or a blanket, depending on what you want to do. I used yarn that is just wool, not the most you wouldn't want to make a garment out of this, that's for sure. So I use this yarn that I usually use to make rugs, and as you can see, the weave is pretty loose. So I did that deliberately because I want to be able to work this yarn so it will full, and what that means is that the fibers will basically attach to one another, to the fiber next to it, so it will be like this, so you can't really put your finger through this. So that's the process that we're going to do today. And to do that, I picked up this is my favorite little vintage find. I have a washboard glass. You don't absolutely need this, but since I have it and I'm quite pleased that I own this, I'm going to definitely use it. I do use this for any of my felting and fulling projects. I have a pot of water that is hot enough to tolerate. Please don't boil water and burn yourself, because that would be ridiculous. Don't hurt yourself. If it's too hot to put your hand in like this, and please don't put your hand in to test it, like just use what you can from the faucet and work it out. Dawn dish soap is my go-to for pretty much everything. This is not sponsored by Dawn, but I would love it if they want to get in touch. So what you do is you just wet the piece that you want to work on here. And then what I do is I put a generous amount of Dawn dish soap. And as anyone who's worked this stuff knows that a little goes a long way. And then what I do is just kind of start working this. Now, assuming you don't have a washboard handy, you can just kind of go like this and just kind of like you're scrubbing it. But if you have the washboard, it's kind of nice. And I usually fold it in half, because a washboard will hurt your knuckles if you're not. So I'm just kind of going like this. And at first it seems like, man, like nothing's happening. But give it a little bit of time. So things are starting to fluff up here a little bit. And your ends that you weave in, they will pop out. Don't worry about it. You can trim it again once you're done. And so I'm going to just keep going with this. And it takes a little bit. And then when people say, how long does it take? I'm like, well, it takes as long as it takes. And that's just not me being whimsical and disorganized. It takes as long as it takes. Like sometimes it can go faster. It really depends on the temperature of the water and how much soap you use. We have a coaster, and these are pretty cool. You can see like the ends that poked out. I'm just going to trim those off. They're not going to unravel because they really are pretty much stuck. But yeah, so you can just rinse this off. Yeah, I just rinse it out with some clear water and just let it air dry. If you put it if you make a bunch of these and put them into the dryer, you run the risk of having them come out and be a fraction of the size depending on how hot your dryer is. So I would say if you have the time, if you're not on deadline, just let them air dry, and then you can stack them up and use them around your house, or you can give them as a gift. This cooled down a little bit, so it slowed down the process a little bit. But it takes, I don't know, I'd probably say probably less than 10 minutes for sure, especially if you're using that in a faucet. So yeah, so hopefully this inspires you to try this, and this just increases the possibilities of what you could do with the CraftSanity looms, because you could weave anything on these looms. It can be a looser weave, and then you can shrink it down and make it into a pretty thick fabric, which is pretty fun. So let me know what you end up making. Shoot me an email at jennifer@craftsanity.com, and I'd love to see what you make.